Alright, what's up guys, it's Bataha, and I'm coming at you with the Taotao 6-month review. So pretty much by the time I probably upload this video, it's probably going to be more like almost 7 months, but yeah. So pretty much I'm just going to start out with like my thoughts on the bike. I got this bike back in February of 2020, if you're watching this video later. And I got it off of Amazon for $750, and it was free shipping with it, so that was pretty nice. It was a good price, and then it arrived in 2 days, which is actually really fast if you think about it for a giant like box that it came in. And the box was like a really nice box too. It had like metal, it had like a metal cage that like supported the whole box, so like the bike wouldn't get damaged during shipping. And then the only thing you had to put together was the front tire and the front tire on the front brake, and then the handlebars. So then after that, I pretty much just dumped out the oil that it came with, because that oil isn't that good. And then I put new oil in it, turned on the bike, let it idle for 10 minutes, dumped that oil, filled it up with more oil, and I was good to go. And then, so like that was just the whole like getting the bike, taking it out, and then getting it ready to go. It was that easy. And then pretty much ever since I've got the bike, I was just like full sending it. And I feel like I've kind of been sending it even more recently, because I'm like more confident and better at riding. So I think that like the way this bike is held up is just like pretty amazing. Like a lot of people are like, oh, it's Chinese, it's gonna break on you fast, or like it's gonna get destroyed just because people think it's cheap or Chinese. But like really, like I think it's been holding up well, and it's a great bike. I haven't had really any major problems. I'll get into kind of the problems I've had later, but I haven't had really any big ones. And then like really, if you just like change the oil when you should, and like just like treat the bike well, like you take care of it, then like you should really just like be fine. Like you're not really gonna have any problems with the bike. So I'm gonna go ahead and just tell you kind of what mods I put on it as of right now. I started out, with the bike without any mods, but kind of as time went on, I decided, stuff's like not that expensive, or like the mods aren't, so might as well throw a few things on, just kind of see what's happening. And I'd definitely recommend getting an air filter upgrade and a carburetor upgrade as the main mods. Definitely get that, and then Loctite to screw in some screws, because they come out really easy. But I'll go ahead and get into this. The ones I have are this: air filter, carburetor, breakaway clutch lever, hour meter, rear shock, and a light. I'd say probably with all that's probably $150 in mods, maybe a tiny bit more. But all that's relatively cheap, even if you put it on top of that. Really, I paid like $900, including all the mods, which, I'd say that's worth it. You don't have to do all the mods I did, really. You could just do an air filter and carburetor, and that's costing you like $50, $50 more. So now I'm just gonna like go into like kind of the bad things that happened with the Taotao, which is the screws under my gas tank fell out, which it was actually, I want to say I had the bike for around 3 weeks, and then they fell out. So I bought replacement screws off of Amazon for like a whole box. It was like $10. You put some Loctite under there, and you can there's 4 screws under there. I made a little video on it if it happens to you, but it was a really easy fix. And I also lost like 1 screw on my swing arm, but I put another screw in there as well. And then one of the other things that sucked was I broke the plastic that's on like the right side of my bike. So like it's the one that's like over the exhaust, that kind of like shields it. There's like these kind of weird like little, I want to say kind of like pegs or like little plastic pieces that kind of like go out and hold the plastic to the frame, and that thing just like broke in half, so I kind of just taped that plastic back on there. I don't know why they didn't make like a little metal thing that kind of comes down and you can screw into it, you know. That would have been a way better design, but you know, it's Chinese. I don't really care about the plastics, but that was on the one side that, you know, I definitely want to keep on so I don't burn my leg. And then, so that kind of sucks, but like, you know, it is what it is. I just used a little electrical tape, taped it back on. And then the other thing I want to say is like my back tire, the tread is like definitely way worse than like the front. It's really worn down, which I'll get into. My second thing is my rear brake is like slightly pressed down. I think the disc brake like slightly squeezes like a tiny bit, even if I don't press it. Which, like, I'm kind of trying to find a fix for that, you know, but like I can't really, which kind of sucks. And I think I've been riding with that problem for like the whole time I've had it, so that's probably why my back tire is kind of like, you know, worn down. Because like then even say I'm just kind of coasting, my back tires, you know, kind of braking. So even say I'm riding on gravel and I'm kind of coasting, I'm really kind of braking a little bit, so it would like drag the tire. So that kind of sucks, you know. That's probably the worst problem I've say out of all this is the back tire and the rear brake. But then the next one, which it wasn't that bad, but it was kind of annoying at the time, was my rear shock like broke because they like installed it the wrong way. Like really, for the monoshock, yeah, it can be mounted either way, but the right way is where the spring is actually on the bottom side. And I made like a bunch of videos on that and installing a new one. I think I paid around, I want to say 60 or 70 for that new shock. Maybe it's, yeah, I'd say 60. I'd say whenever you get the bike, check your shock. Make sure you flip it the other way down, or other way around. Which that was just annoying, but I think like if you flipped it around the other way, it would have lasted like a lot longer, because then it would actually, you know, be able to take more force and like take the like impact and stuff. And then the next thing I'd say, which is like kind of a fault of the new rear shock, is the kickstand sits like at a way different angle. So whenever like try and put my kickstand down, like you can't really set it on like flat ground or pavement, because the bike will fall over to the right, because you can't lean it on that kickstand. But if you put it like in the grass, you can kind of lean it. You really have to put the kickstand like as far out as you can to get it to lean over, which that's the problem of the rear shock. But you know, I'm just gonna tell you all that anyway. If you have the stock shock on the rear, you should be fine. So that's really like all the bad things, which really it's not that bad. But then now I'm gonna go ahead and say the things that I like about it, and really why like I'd recommend buying it is like it's super easy to mod. You know, the engine's really reliable, and you also get a 1-year warranty with the engine. The bike is really good on gas. I really want to test out and see like what gas mileage it gets, because you'll really have to fill this thing up. And then it's really easy to fix things. Like you can just fix everything. You know, like you can replace whatever parts you really need. Like the only thing you really have to worry about is like the frame, I'd say. That's like the only real thing you have to worry about, braking. And then the other thing is the price and the shipping. $750 with free shipping was a good deal. I know that the price has gone up recently, you know, and like maybe they're not in stock in some places, but you know, even say you're paying like $850 or $900, and depending on where you live, that could be a really good deal. Because like around me, like on Facebook Marketplace or Craigslist, there's like not that many good deals around here. They're all like really overpriced, and it's just not worth it, you know. It was way better just to buy this little pit bike brand new, you know, no problems with it. Didn't have to work on it really at all. And it was just nice getting that. So the next thing I want to get into is kind of like just the seat height, because like so many people ask me about that question, and I actually made like a whole nother video about it, which you can go check out. But if you want the short answer, then if you're 5 feet, you're gonna be on your tippy toes, and if you're probably like 6'4", 6'5", I'd say you're probably fine, and that's about the max. So I just get that out of the way real quick. But then moving on to like kind of just for this bike, like for beginners, because a lot of people ask that. I'm a beginner, should I get this? And being completely honest, yes, because it's a really like easy bike to learn on. Like I taught 2 friends how to ride on this bike, and within pretty much the day they kind of understood how to ride, and it was not like the bike was gonna they use too much throttle and it's gonna come out from under them or whatever. So it's a good beginner's bike, teaching people how to ride, all that sorts of stuff. So here's just like 2 little clips of like what my friend kind of like thought about the Taotao.
It's a good size where like I feel comfortable on it. Like I feel like I probably, if I rode that like a little bit like at my house or something, I'd be comfortable on that. But I think this is more fun. Do more stuff on this. More agile. I like it. I think I'm gonna buy it.
Nice.
For sure.
What my friend said a lot was like the size is really good. It's like a pit bike, and it has like the power of a pit bike, but it's a bigger pit bike. So it's like easier to ride trails on, and that's really what this is good for, is riding trails. You can say you live in a like small area and you're really just riding pastures and stuff. This thing is, you're probably never gonna break this thing. You're never gonna lose a screw. You're never gonna break your suspension. All this stuff. But if you're like full sending it hard on trails and going up and down and hitting rocks here and there, you're gonna there's a few things that are gonna happen here and there, but overall the thing's gonna hold up. So it's a really good just beginner's bike. You might stall it when you're kind of learning how to ride and stuff, but really you can ride like kind of slow in a higher gear, like in second, and it's not gonna just stall out on you. So it's really good for the beginners, and you can also rev it out like quite a little bit, and I don't think you're gonna really blow up your engine, because I've done a lot of top speed tests when it's really hot out and I haven't even blown up my engine yet. So it's really just a forgiving kind of bike, good to learn on. Like there's enough power there that you can get where you want to go, and you're gonna be going fast enough, but it's not like too much power, like a 2-stroke where too much throttle and you're flying off the bike. And that gets my other point, where it's like I don't know if I'd want to go any faster on this bike. Like say the top speed was 60, I'm not really gonna go 60 like off-road, like on a small bike like this, because that would scare me a lot, because then my back tire would probably slip and I'd go sideways. So like I feel like the power that this bike has and the top speed that it has really just matches the performance and the size. So that's really just kind of what I had to say about this bike. If there's any other questions you have, just leave them in the comments down below. Please check the description, because I link like everything I buy for each bike and stuff down there. And yeah, guys.